Do you remember the time when you first started thinking about the big questions of life? Questions like, where did I come from? What is the purpose of life? Who is this Jesus Christ? And why do Christians claim that the Bible is the only true word of God? You may have started thinking, researching, reading, and watching videos, getting deeper into this idea of God, until the concepts of faith started to feel real and important to you. But what you couldn't see was that this new curiosity of yours had set off an alarm in another world. You were assigned your very own personal tempter, a junior devil named Wormwood. His uncle and mentor, the veteran demon Screwtape, had taken him under his wing and would instruct him on how to handle you. And do you know what his first and most crucial piece of advice was? He warned his nephew never to argue with you. He was not supposed to get into a debate and try to prove that you're just a cosmic accident from random evolution, that there's no purpose to life because there's no God, that Jesus never existed, or that the Bible is just a book of fiction written to control people. Why? Because if you actually stop and think rationally, you will eventually realize how thin and weak the evidence against God really is. In fact, Wormwood would not only fail to keep you away from God, but he would end up bringing you closer to him. The real trick, Screwtape explains, is something far more subtle. The veteran demon instructs his apprentice to change the entire battlefield. You know how when you talk about Jesus with non-believing friends, family, or coworkers, they can start to look at you like you're crazy? You can almost feel them get uncomfortable. To many people, the idea of making Jesus the center of your life seems strange, maybe even laughable. So your tempter uses this social pressure. He whispers that you're looking into something that isn't relevant or popular anymore. The goal is to get you to stop asking, is this true? And instead start asking, is this popular? Will people think I'm weird for believing this? Screwtape specifically warns Wormwood to keep you away from dangerous ground. He instructs him not to let you get curious about history, explore philosophy, or think that logic and faith can actually go together. Because, as Screwtape knows, if you look at history and realize that Jesus was and is real, then the big questions about our origin, purpose, and meaning start to get answered. When you apply your reason and see that it all makes sense, having faith in Jesus suddenly becomes the most logical thing in the world. That's why your tempter's main job is to stop you from really using your brain and looking at the evidence, because doing so will only build your faith and make it stronger. Screwtape makes it clear that these fields, history, philosophy, and logic, are God's home turf. For a devil, it's enemy-occupied territory. The tempter who tries to fight there won't just lose the argument, he'll end up losing you to the enemy. So if your tempter's main job is to stop you from thinking clearly, how does he actually do it? What are the weapons he uses against you day to day? The first tool Screwtape recommends is leveraging your social anxiety. The goal is to make your growing interest in faith feel, well, a little embarrassing. It's like being in high school and being afraid to admit you like a certain band because it isn't considered cool. Your tempter wants you to have that same fear about your beliefs. He wants you to worry less about whether your faith is true and more about whether it will make you look foolish or behind the times to your friends. But the second weapon is far more powerful because you won't even realize it's a weapon. It's the simple, grinding, relentless noise of your ordinary life. It's the constant ping of work emails on your phone, the never-ending to-do list, the background stress about money, relationships, and what to make for dinner. Screwtape explains it like this. Your new, quiet thoughts about God are like a beautiful melody. The chaos of your daily life is like a loud construction drill right next to your head. The drill doesn't need to argue with the melody or prove that it's bad. It just needs to be loud. Loud enough that, eventually, you can't even hear the music anymore. We see this in interviews and debates all the time. When a person with a weak argument has nothing left to say, they just start shouting, repeating themselves, or interrupting so the other person can't speak. The trick is as old as time, and it works flawlessly because our brains are wired to pay attention to the loudest, most immediate thing in front of us. The noise doesn't have to be smart. It just has to be overwhelming. Let me walk you through an instance of how these weapons are used against you. It's a scenario you've likely lived through yourself without even realizing it. You were having one of those rare, quiet moments. Maybe you were reading or praying, and for a second, everything just clicked. Your connection to God felt like the most real and important thing in your world. You felt a sense of genuine peace and clarity. Then, the real world barged in. Your phone buzzed with a text, so you replied. That led you to see a news alert on your phone. You read the headline, and it made you anxious or angry. You closed that, only to see 3 work emails that needed a response. And you suddenly felt hungry, headed to the kitchen, and turned on the TV for background noise while scrolling through your social media feed. Now, where did that profound peace you felt just 10 minutes ago disappear? It didn't lose an argument. It wasn't disproven. It was simply buried under an avalanche of small, ordinary things. Screwtape teaches his nephew that this is the strategy in action. Your tempter wins not by attacking your spiritual moment, but by burying it under the sheer weight of your normal life, one notification at a time. So Screwtape wraps up his first lesson with the ultimate goal for this early stage of your temptation. He makes it clear that you shouldn't be looking for a cartoon devil on your shoulder, urging you towards some great and terrible sin. The real strategy is much quieter. The goal is simply to keep your mind cluttered and in a state of low-grade, constant chaos. Wormwood's job is to ensure there's always something new demanding your attention. A political headline that makes you angry, a celebrity drama, a new viral trend, anything to keep your brain occupied and prevent a single moment of deep, quiet thought. These distractions are designed to feel urgent right now, burning up your emotional energy before they're replaced by the next urgent thing tomorrow. The chilling lesson Screwtape teaches is this: why would a devil go to the trouble of trying to destroy your faith when he can just convince you to set it on a shelf? He just needs to help you bury it under a pile of daily distractions until it's out of sight and out of mind, and so your faith can sit there forever, untouched and collecting dust. Still technically yours, but completely useless.